Hey friends, tonight we're heading into the darker corners of history, a world of plagues, punishment, and pottage. No fairy tales, no gallant knights. Forget everything Disney and Hollywood told you. This is the real Middle Ages. And spoiler alert, you probably wouldn't make it past lunchtime. Before we get into it, hit that like button and subscribe only if this kind of deep dive storytelling is your vibe. And drop a comment. Where in the world are you watching from? And what time is it over there? I love seeing how far this community reaches. All right, dim your lights, maybe switch on a fan for that cozy background hum, and let's time travel together. You're waking up in the year 1335. Good news, you're alive. Bad news, so are the fleas. Your bed? Not exactly 5-star. It's a lumpy straw mat, half decayed and fully infested, tossed on the dirt where a barn used to be. Forget memory foam. You're sleeping under a wool blanket so dirty and damp, it feels like cuddling with a wet sheep. You're jolted awake by a bell clanging in the distance, the medieval version of an alarm clock, but louder and somehow even ruder. Your home is a single-room wooden hut. No windows, no privacy, and certainly no insulation. You, your family, the goat, and a battalion of bugs all share this lovely open-concept layout. The smell? A medieval cocktail. Part sweat, part livestock, part, please don't ask what that is. You stretch, instantly regret it. The air is ice cold and your joints ache like you're 80. But plot twist, you're only 22 and already considered middle-aged here. Your back creaks, your knees pop like gravel in a sack, and getting out of bed is a full-body gamble. Did it rain last night? Then the floor's wet. If not, it's probably crusty from something the neighbor's chicken left behind. Either way, your bare feet are now part of the ecosystem. Privacy? What's that? Your parents, siblings, and that one cousin who never left, all right there beside you. No curtains, no bedrooms, no personal space. Just family bonding, medieval style. And this, my friend, is just your morning. It only gets weirder from here. Next up, nature calls. Loudly. There's no bathroom, no flush, not even a sad-looking plunger to keep you company. In 14th century Europe, relieving yourself is an adventure. If you're poor, which you are, your toilet is a wooden bucket out back. Except it's already full, thanks to Uncle Wolfstan's questionable turnip stew. You hold your breath, do your thing, and then toss it into the street. Seriously. Yes, the street, but etiquette says you should yell "Gardez-vous" first. That's medieval French for "look out below." Not that it helps. Streets double as open sewers, flowing rivers of human waste, animal mess, and liquids you really don't want to identify. If your town has public latrines, congratulations, I guess. You get to sit elbow to elbow with strangers in a stinky outhouse with zero ventilation. No doors, no dignity. Just awkward eye contact and silent prayers for it to be over. Toilet paper? Nope. People wiped with straw, rags, moss, or their bare hands. Handshakes weren't really a thing yet. Wonder why? Thinking, well, maybe castles were better. Kind of. If you were rich, you got a garderobe, a hole in the wall that emptied into the moat. But here's the kicker, enemies sometimes climbed in through it. Yes, people literally invaded through poop tunnels. Medieval warfare was creative. So whether you're a peasant or a noble, using the bathroom was a public disgusting, and sometimes dangerous event. One misstep, and you're face down in humanity's leftovers. And no, you haven't brushed your teeth yet, but we'll get there. Congrats, you survived the medieval bathroom. Surely that earns you a hearty breakfast, right? Not even close. There's no coffee, no pancakes, no toaster, no TikTok-worthy smoothie bowls. Your breakfast is a bowl of grayish mush. Say hello to pottage. Pottage is a thick, soupy mix of whatever's left in the kitchen pot. Grains, a couple of root vegetables, beans if you're lucky. It's been simmering for days, maybe weeks. Every new ingredient is just tossed on top of the old ones. It's less a recipe and more a science experiment that never ends. Next to it, you get a piece of bread so hard it could be used as a weapon. Made from coarse flour, sometimes padded with sawdust or ground acorns. Because wheat? That's for the rich folks. Your jaw is now an essential survival tool. Now, let's talk breakfast. That chunk of bread on your plate, it's not sliced, it's negotiated. You don't cut it, you wrestle it into submission. As for drinks, there's no orange juice, no oat milk latte with a swirl. You're drinking beer at 6 in the morning. Why? Because the water, it's basically a petri dish, full of bacteria, worms, and regret. So instead, you down a cup of weak ale, low alcohol, high survival rate. Even kids drink it. Nobody likes it. But at least it won't kill you before lunch. Craving bacon or a bit of cheddar? Keep dreaming. Meat and cheese are rare luxuries, reserved for Sundays, feast days, and the off chance your lord is feeling unusually generous. Most people go months, without seeing a single sliver of meat. Fresh fruit? Only when it's in season and hasn't already rotted into wine. And spices? Forget it. A pinch of black pepper costs more than what you earn in a month. Salt is so valuable, it's literally locked away like treasure. So you choke down your gritty, stale bread, sip your lukewarm breakfast beer, and pray that whatever nibbled your pottage last night didn't leave anything behind. Breakfast doesn't fill you. It doesn't even warm you. It just exists. Now that you've officially started your day on empty, it's time to go to work. Because your life, it actually depends on it. But before that, you have to get dressed. Not that it helps. Your wardrobe consists of exactly one outfit. One, a single rough-spun wool tunic or linen shift you've worn daily for, well, you can't even remember when it was new. There's no such thing as winter collection or summer style. You wear it until it disintegrates, or until it fuses with your skin. Underwear? Optional. You might have a linen undertunic. If not, you're freeballing it under layers of scratchy, sweaty wool that smells like a wet animal died in it. There's no soap, no washing machine, no chance to freshen up. Your clothes are stiff, stained, and smell like they've been aged in a compost heap. And technically, they have. Washing them is a full-day event. Haul water from a well or river, heat it over a fire, scrub your tunic with ashes or animal fat, then hang it to dry. Which is great unless it's winter or raining, which it usually is. And shoes? Ha! If you even own a pair, they're made of untreated leather and stitched like someone took sewing lessons from a drunk raccoon. There's no cushion, no support. It's like wrapping your feet in wet cardboard. Most peasants just walk barefoot. Through mud, through dung, through sharp rocks and puddles teeming with disease. Every step is a gamble, every blister a potential infection. So let's talk about your skin. It's your body's first line of defense. And it hates you. You itch constantly. Lice, fleas, and bedbugs have turned you into their personal Airbnb. Everyone has them, from nobles to nuns, monks to toddlers. It's not if, it's how many. You'll find yourself scratching your armpits with a wooden spoon while chatting with the village priest, and no one will blink. It's normal. Your scalp? A war zone. And if you develop a rash? Tough luck. There's no doctor, no cream, no helpful TikTok skincare advice. Just suck it up and hope it doesn't spread. If it gets infected, congratulations. You now have a long-term companion. And if it doesn't, great. You still look like a moldy tomato for the next 6 months. Okay, you're dressed, you're itchy, you're underfed. Time to flash that morning smile. Except, don't. Smiling is dangerous. Not emotionally, but dentally. Toothbrushes? Don't exist. Toothpaste? Never heard of her. Mouthwash? You mean wine. Maybe vinegar. Occasionally someone chews on a twig, but mostly your teeth are on their own. By your mid-20s, your smile looks like something that crawled out of a grave. Cavities run wild, gums swell, and decay spreads like gossip at a royal wedding. Sugar is just starting to make its way into upper-class diets, imported at great cost and reserved for the elite. So if you're rich, congrats! Your teeth rot faster. If you're poor, it's just slower decay with a side of coarse bread and old porridge. Toothaches are part of the lifestyle, like cold weather or religious guilt. The pain gets so bad, some folks start praying. Others drink. Some try pulling the tooth out themselves with pliers. And yes, that was the treatment. There were no dentists, just barber surgeons. The same guy who trims your beard is yanking your molars with a hook and a candle. Zero anesthesia. Just vibes and maybe a shot of liquor if you're lucky. Gets an infection? That minor toothache could escalate into a full-blown fever, blood poisoning, and death. In the 1300s, a cavity isn't a dental issue. It's a fatal condition. And if you're hoping for romance, good luck. Everyone has bad breath. Kissing is risky. You're judged not by your looks, but by your land, your livestock, and your ability to survive winter. Your mouth isn't a smile machine. It's a battlefield. And trust me, you're losing the war. Teeth throbbing, scalp itching, stomach growling, and now it's time to start your real job. You know, the one that will crush your spine and break your spirit. You head to work. No office, no break room, no hope of a raise. If you're like most people, about 90% of the population, your job is simple. Don't die while working for someone richer than you. You're a peasant, which means you labor on land that belongs to a lord, a guy who probably couldn't pick you out of a lineup. You work from sunrise to sunset, 6 days a week. The 7th? Technically off. Technically, your tools? A wooden hoe, a dull sickle, and whatever body parts haven't completely fallen apart. There's no HR department, no PTO, just dirt, sweat, and survival. So what's on the agenda today? Maybe a little harvesting? Maybe fending off raiders? Maybe you're just begging the heavens to stop your toe from turning black. Either way, it's gonna be brutal. Farming? It's not cute. You're plowing rocky fields by hand, or with an ox if you're one of the lucky rich. You're hauling water, digging trenches, sowing seeds, yanking out weeds, and slowly bending your spine into the shape of a question mark. Exhausted? Doesn't matter. There's no mental health day, no take 5, no one asking how you're holding up. And if you're a woman, buckle up. You're not only out in the fields, you're also raising kids, tending animals, cooking every meal, cleaning constantly, spinning wool, and pretending your husband's lice colony hasn't made its way to your side of the straw mattress yet. Kids aren't spared either. Around age 5, they're handed their first tools. Not toys, tools, and expected to contribute. There's no preschool, just hard labor and the distant dream of surviving the next flu season. Not a farmer? Maybe you're a blacksmith, a tanner, or a barrel maker. Congratulations! You still work in a dark, smoky shack full of toxic fumes, boiling metal, and animal guts. The pay? Just enough not to die. Probably. Break your arm? Tough luck. Got a fever? Warm beer will have to do. Because if you don't work, you don't eat. And if you don't eat, someone else will take your place. The workforce is a meat grinder, and you're just another cog. So you grip your shovel, ignore the festering blisters, and keep moving. Because in the Middle Ages, job security just means surviving another day. And now, your back is on fire. Naturally, it's time to talk weather. Medieval climate isn't divided by seasons. It's divided by how exactly the sky is trying to kill you today. Let's start with winter. No insulation, no heating. Just wind slashing through the cracks in your wooden walls. Which, by the way, are so loose you could probably throw a chicken through them. Your window is a hole covered with cloth. Glass? Too expensive. The fire in your hearth? Great! Except firewood is scarce, and cutting trees from certain forests is literally punishable by death. Yep, you could be executed for picking up the wrong stick. So you huddle in your one soggy wool tunic, shiver near some fading embers, and wake up to a frozen nose and stiff fingers that feel like popsicles with nerve endings. Frostbite isn't a diagnosis, it's just called tough luck. Summer's better though, right? Wrong. Summer turns your one-room hovel into a brick oven. No fan, no air circulation, and definitely no deodorant. You sweat through your clothes, but can't remove them because showing skin is scandalous and socially suicidal. Sunburns, insect bites, judgmental glances, all part of the package. The flies are relentless. Drawn to your unwashed body and last week's dinner still fermenting in the corner. At night, mosquitoes buzz around your ears, while babies scream and your neighbors argue through the paper-thin walls. During the day, the sun scorches you while you work in the fields. No sunscreen, no shade, unless you've turned a bundle of straw into a makeshift hat, which only makes you look like a depressed scarecrow. Heat stroke isn't a condition, it's having a bad day. So whether you're freezing under one damp blanket in January or sweating through your only pair of socks in August, one thing remains true. Your food is awful, your clothes still itch, and your next back-breaking job is waiting. Welcome to Climate Control, Medieval Edition. Feeling thirsty? Want to wash your face? Maybe just rinse off the sweat and sadness? Tough. Water in medieval Europe is not your friend. It is a silent assassin. Let's start with drinking. The nearby stream may look like a watercolor painting, clear and serene. But guess what? Someone just dumped a chamber pot into it. Or a dead pig is decomposing a few yards upstream, or both. Every sip is a gamble. Parasites, bacteria, and medieval microbes are waiting to hijack your gut. That's why people, including children, drank beer. Not the fun kind, not craft brew, not IPA, just small beer. Weak in alcohol, strong in survival instincts. It was boiled, so safer than the local swamp water. If you had money, wine was an option. Not a great one, but it got the job done. But bathing, surely that's still a thing, right? Well, kind of. Technically, yes. Practically, not so much. See, people back then believed washing opened your pores and let in disease. Bathing was thought to be dangerous. Seriously, being too clean? Medically suspicious. That layer of dirt on your skin? It was considered protective. Like armor, but made of filth. Public bathhouses existed, but quickly got a reputation for being less about cleanliness and more about gossip, scandal, and the kind of activities that get churches involved. Naturally, they were shut down, and if you did want a bath, prepare for war. First haul water from the well, then build a fire to boil it, then fill a leaky wooden tub, and finally, hope no one else used it before you, or worse, after. Rainwater was another option. Just collect it in a barrel. A barrel that birds poop in, that bugs breed in, that moss grows in. Refreshing, right? So yeah, water in the Middle Ages? Not your loyal companion. It's a daily gamble. Drink it, and you risk weeks of explosive regret. Bathe in it, and people think you're trying to summon the plague. Splash it on crops, and pray no livestock was upstream. One wrong sip, and boom, you're sweating on a straw mattress, stomach twisted in knots, whispering apologies to God for ever trusting the clear water. So maybe you didn't drink the water. Maybe you just stubbed your toe on a rock shaped like disappointment. Either way, now you're sick. You need a doctor. Too bad you live in medieval Europe, where medicine is basically just religious guesswork with a side of bloodletting. You made it through your first medieval morning. Barely. Between the bugs, the beer for breakfast, and the bone-deep filth, bedtime suddenly feels like a blessing. But don't get too cozy just yet. We've only scratched the lice-ridden surface. Tomorrow night, we're going deeper into medieval medicine. That's right, when your headache meant leeches, your broken leg called for sawdust surgery. And your doctor? Oh, he's also the local barber. So if you're curious, or just slightly horrified, don't forget to subscribe, leave a little love emoji in the comments, and we'll see you in the next episode of the Boring History Sleep series, where bedtime meets back pain, bloodletting, and bizarre survival tips. Until then, sleep tight, and if you hear scratching, it's probably just the fleas saying goodnight.